Kyle McCalla here, and we are going to talk about sales today, and more specifically, educating instead of selling. Here we go. My first, what I'm going to call professional job, first career was in a sales role. Sold full-time sales, trying to think back now, for about 7 years, between 6 and 7 years, and then stepped into more territory manager type roles. Would still be, it's kind of like it was a hybrid sales slash leadership type of a role, and then leadership roles after that. But my first stab at doing things was in sales, and I learned from the best. And what he told me, thank you, Thad, hopefully you're watching this, what he taught me was you have to, at all times, always make sure that above anything else, regardless of what you're selling, whatever that product is, whatever that service is, that you are the right fit for the customer. You have to always have their best interest in mind. And part of doing that, actually all of doing that, is educating them on the services and the product that you can provide, but only as it relates to what they want. Don't sell people. Nobody wants to be sold. People want to buy. And there is a difference. If you're selling something, we've all had those experiences when you're somewhere looking to purchase something and a pushy salesman is trying to force you into make a decision that you're not ready to make. That is somebody selling you on something. That's not what we want to do. We want to let people buy. We want to make them feel comfortable. We want to ask them questions. We want to do a little discovery call, discovery process, and say, hey, I hear what it is you're looking for. Tell me a little bit about what your overall vision is. What's led to wanting this new kitchen, this addition, building a new house? Are you guys expanding your family, or financially, or are you wanting to get out of the city and move into the country, or vice versa? Or you just don't like the layout of a house. It's not practical for what you're trying to do. Get to know, back to, through the lens of leadership, as my prior videos have kind of talked to. Through the lens of leadership, care about the person, care about the customer, forget about all the incentives, all the bonuses, all the goals, all the targets that you have to hit, and focus on the person, on doing what's best for them and in their best interest. And the reality of it is that may be not working with you, and you have to be okay with that, because the reality is, whether it's Lang Custom Builders, whatever your company is, whatever the industry is, we're not going to be a fit for everybody, and that is okay. And the quicker we can accept that, the quicker we are okay with hearing a no, okay with maybe even stepping away and saying, I hear what you want. I just don't think we're the right person. I don't think we're the right fit for the job. The happier you'll be, the more satisfied your customers will be. And not ironically, it seems a little counterintuitive, but the more successful you'll be. You're like, well, how can that be if you're not pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing? I have spent 15 years in sales and leadership roles, and everywhere that I have gone, by always doing what's best for others, employees and customers, I have substantially accelerated my business. Growth is insanely higher than whatever the average trend line is, and it's not by any coincidence. But it is a discipline. I will tell you that. It is not easy to have all that outside pressure, all those outside voices always coming at you and telling you need to go out and get more sales, and you got to be making more calls, and you got to close. If you're walking through the sales process the right way, if you're keeping your pipeline full, if you're staying consistent with following up on leads, following through, prioritizing communication, as long as your pipeline is full, hearing no is okay, because then you get to work with the clients that actually appreciate what you can provide. And those clients are grateful that you're there and working with them because you didn't sell them, they chose you. And that's the difference between educating and selling. Educating is going about the sales process in a way that your customer is always the number one priority. And ultimately you want to try to figure out what it is that they want, why they want it, and how the best way to go about getting them what they want actually is. Nate actually wrote a book about anything you need to know when it comes to building a custom home. It's a great resource. It's a great value piece that we provide. We actually give it out free for those of you that are interested. Hit up our website, click on the link, and we'll get an email and we'll send you a free copy of that. But one of the phenomenal things that he talks about in there is there are any company, any service, regardless of the industry, can provide 4 things. And any company can only do 3 of those and provide 3 of those really well. Nobody can do all 4 based on what they are. So the first is a top quality product. So you provide a very high quality product. If average is here, you're providing up here. So high quality. The second would be timeliness, meaning that you're thorough on follow through, on follow up, staying on your timeline as it relates to construction. You stick to the schedule. You don't have a lot of delays. You plan for those delays in the planning process early on. All of you guys watching this in the construction industry, if all things planned out well and you never had any delays, you never had weather delays, equipment didn't break, all the subs could get there, all the equipment was always ordered right, things didn't break, you could build a house theoretically in 4.5, 5 months. That's not the case. And the reality is, depending on the size of the house you're building, it takes about, we always figure 9 to 10 months for an average size custom home. As you get up in scale, we're actually building, well, you've probably seen videos of our timber frame house. The square foot of that is roughly 5,500 square foot with an indoor pool and an elevator. It's got 2 floors, so total square footage is like just shy of 8,000 square foot. That one's about a 15-month build, but you stay on schedule. The third thing is customer service. So in relation to providing a good quality product, high quality product, and timeliness, the customer service is top notch, above and beyond. You're quick to respond, you're friendly, you go out of your way to make sure that the customer ultimately is happy, is satisfied. You provide things that are above the norm. We do weekly update emails. We're not the only ones that do that. That's a great tip that we learned years ago from Matt Reisinger and Jake Bruton on the Build Show. Check those guys out if you haven't already. Build Show is legit, and those guys are awesome. But service is customer service, is another one of the 3. The last one is price. And price depends on what those other 3 are. If you do those other three things well above average, you're not going to be the cheapest. If you want to sacrifice any one of those other three things and say you're providing a good quality product, but it's average, right? And you're transparent with your customers on what that is, you don't have to charge the highest. And there's no right, wrong, or indifferent way of doing it. At the same token, if you're doing those things really well, you're going to have a higher margin product. And so we believe we do those other three really well, and we are very transparent with our customers that, hey, you're probably going to find somebody that can do what we're talking about cheaper. But if you value those other three things, then we could be the builder for you. And we let them choose. That's the difference. Back to the difference between selling and educating. You let them make the decision. You lay everything out on the table. You're upfront. You're honest. And you want what's best for them. You're going to do things that are in the client's best interest. Educate. Don't sell. Until next time, see you soon.